Guess who's back? Back again. Mikey's back and Mrs. Mikey J. Tell a friend. Here we are with episode 3 of the Brick Chat. And before we go any further, let me just say if you like this stream or any of my content, please like, comment, and subscribe. We decided to make this whole episode very castle oriented and castle themed. And so I'm going to be showing, a little bit off of every castle that we have in our collection here today. And we really have some doozies that, in store. So, we're really actually excited to bring in that. So we have that. Lego castles are probably some of the coolest Lego things. They absolutely are. And that's why one of the reasons we wanted to do this particular episode. And so, speaking of which, let's just get right down to it and let's take a look at the castles in our collection.
And first up, we have the classic Black Monarchs castle. I just did a review on this on last week's episode, so I'm not going to go super in depth on it. But this is the oldest castle in my collection, and it is one of the original, Lego classic castles back from the 80s. It was actually released in 1988. And it's just a magnificent, classic Lego castle. The drawbridge opens, portcullis comes up, and it actually opens up like this, so it's got cool play features, so you can get down inside it, and it's a great, great castle. Here is my blue castle. And this was actually the first castle I got when I got back into Lego, because it came out in 2013. This front gate is something that I added that is separate. Actually, Mrs. Mikey J Productions added that. I better give her the due credit. But the majority of this is just the 2013 castle that I bought a lot of gatehouse raids and made it bigger and just really made it as grandiose as possible. And then the missus later on got down to it and added some additions to it. And here's a little blacksmith shop we got set up in there. And this one is historically accurate because it has the keep in the center. That is important. That's the final place, the final sanctuary in a castle is the keep. And this one does have a functioning portcullis, as you can see here. As I'm taking it up and letting it slam on down. And then it has a drawbridge, it goes up and down with that right there. And like I said, this one's actually the most historically accurate we probably have because, if they break in, they could get, just hammered down here, like we'll learn about a little bit later in the interview that's coming up. But yes, the missus did a good job, and there's actually 4 of these gatehouse raids. That is another thing from the interview, so I figured I'd count them out now, and there is 4. But that is probably the most historically accurate castle in my collection right now. And then over here we have the red castle. And this one is essentially just 2 sets that were released around the same time in the mid to late 2000s, I believe. And it was the Knights Jousting set and just the regular red castle. And this one, when I combined them together, I was just going for an aesthetic look. But this one is probably the least historically accurate, as you'll find out in the interview, even though it does have a working drawbridge and a working portcullis. And it's got this little secret thing here. You can bust somebody out of jail. Nice fun play feature that was included. And then I just kind of made a little throne for sitting in the center for the king. You see the portcullis does work. So it does have a nice functioning portcullis. and it has a nice drawbridge. But what this keeps this castle from being historically accurate is that people could just come in and just raid it, and all they'd have to do would be break down that gate in the portcullis to get in, where really those should be blocked off, and there should be another gate or door there if you really wanted to get a proper castle. Next up we have Helm's Deep, and of course this is the great Lord of the Rings castle that was released back in the early 2010s. And these round sections here that Lego came up with for this particular set is really cool and really historically accurate. And then, as you can see here, I got the front door is closed, keep the bad guys out. And of course it has a center keep, and here's the inside look at the center keep. And that's what's another cool thing about Helm's Deep set, is it does include a keep. As you see the dwarf climbing up the ladder there, Gimli. And I have made some little bit of modifications to this, but we got some more changes yet to come. And then next up we have my Tower of Orthanc mock. Now this, I don't know, it kind of rides the line if I can consider it a castle or not. But for the sake of this video, I said why not, and I threw it in here. And we actually took 2 of the Black Gate sets and combined them to make it more like a Mordor type thing. And I'll open up the door here. As you can see, there's a gate here, and there's the other gate over on this side. Opens up like so. Move that stuff out of the way. And we got a couple of other like Lord of the Rings and Hobbit sets that we included in there as well. And then here, of course, is the big grand tower itself in all of its magnificent glory. And here is the inside of it. As I said, I think that's one of the Goblin King set that we kind of combined in with this one, as well as the 2 black gates, obviously. And I don't know why there's mushrooms all over the place. I think my little man put those in there. And here's a rat down here because that's the dungeon. There's another mushroom up here. But here's all the different floors with it, and here's another mushroom up here. And then, oh, look, here's another mushroom up here. Oh, I guess there's just mushrooms on every floor of my Tower of Orthanc. But, yeah. So here's my Tower of Orthanc. Next up, we have the Disney Castle, or Cinderella's Castle, as it is known in the Disney circles. And this is a fantastic, majestic set released in the mid-2010s, if memory serves. And it is still available through Lego.com. Last I checked, if I believe so. It's definitely been around for a while, but it's definitely a fantastic Lego set that a lot of people really love. And here is the inside of this castle. And since I was calling it a castle, I just want to point out that it's actually kind of more like a palace than a traditional castle, which, that could be an interesting discussion altogether. But you see all the different, levels to it and everything. But yeah, the Disney Castle, or Cinderella's Castle, as it is sometimes referred, is definitely a fantastic and majestic Lego castle. That is for sure. But my number one is one that is still not complete. It is a work in progress here on Mikey J Productions, and that is our custom Hogwarts Mock that Mrs. Mikey J Productions is building. And this thing is at least two of all the official sets that were released for the Hogwarts. And you can see we got, Diagon Alley up in front of it. And, this has been the latest thing that she's been working on, is building it up and putting the rock formation underneath it. As you can see, all the different levels and everything. But again, this is not complete. It is very much still a work in progress. and when it is completed, we will do a full-on review or reveal of it. And here is the back of the castle itself. And all these different sets that Lego released, bringing them all together to make this was pretty cool. And here's the Great Hall. As you can see, the rock formation down below, it's still very much a work in progress, as I said. And just for the sake of being able to do this, the missus pulled out all the stops and cleaned it all up and everything. And here's some of the inside views. There's just so many rooms to this thing that, I'm not going to go through them all right now. Just, I'll wait for the full-on reveal when she finally feels it is done. And here's just a kind of a glimpse at the rest of our little Harry Potter, land that we're building here in our Lego world. And here's more of the inside of the castle. And she did incorporate some of the more recent Harry Potter sets, so they could do the Chamber of Secrets underneath the Great Hall and everything. So she's very much been getting any and all Harry Potter sets and just keeps on adding and building and making this Hogwarts even bigger and more grandiose than it already is. As you can see kind of some of the rooms as we kind of pan on through. I mean, I couldn't even tell you how many rooms are in this thing. It is pretty massive. And again, here's a little bit more view of the back of the castle. And this is definitely Mrs. Mikey J Productions' pride and joy. She's been putting a lot of effort, a lot of hours, a lot of thinking into this thing.
Since if Sir Legolot is here in the chat, there's a couple of questions that I didn't ask him in the interview that I very much would love answers for on an upcoming episode. And that is the difference between a palace and a castle. I think that could be a fantastic discussion. And another thing that I would be interested in is, I showed my Tower of Orthanc there. And like I was talking to her while the video was playing, and I said, I think it could be considered a castle and it's just got a very large keep. The keep is a giant tower, but with everything I have around it, could that be qualified as a castle?
So what are the classifications that make a castle a castle?
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, we got the iArcadians merch store. If you want to take a little piece of the show with you, you can get it right here. We got everything. You want some Mikey J stuff? We got the Mikey J Productions for you. We got it all in the iArcadians shop. So take a chance and stop by. We'll take care of you.